Yeah, so, I mean, first of all, they've got one of these board policies in place that we consider to be racist and sexist, right? Again, as I pointed out, it's a noble goal to try and avoid groupthink, but it's an ignoble way to go about it by mandating that you interview a woman and an underrepresented minority to avoid that groupthink. We've got a company, that publicly came out against President Trump's tax reform. For goodness sake, it helped their lower and middle income employees more than anyone else. Yet the company's leadership was opposed to it. The company's leadership was opposed to President Trump's orders on immigration and travel. So our point being that what our proposal did was actually give them a good business opportunity. I know personally, I don't drink at Starbucks. I know many conservatives and Christians have no interest in drinking coffee at Starbucks. And when it comes to these big national issues where Starbucks is staking out a position on a political issue, it's clear there's no conservatives that have any power in leadership, that no one's listening to them if they exist. And so our point is, even if you want to deny it, which of course many of these companies deny their left-leaning bias, right? So you go ahead and deny it, Starbucks. But I'm giving you a business opportunity. If you appointed, say, just 2 really high-profile conservative individuals to the board of directors, well, that would go a long way to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe Starbucks is trying to balance itself out. Maybe going forward, they're not going to be taking these overtly left-wing political positions that actually have nothing to do with Starbucks' bottom line. And so perhaps there is a better future for Starbucks, and they'll get out of the culture wars. Because that's part of our message at the Free Enterprise Project. What do these companies have to do with the culture battles? When it has nothing to do with your business, get out of the culture battles altogether. I'm not even suggesting they come join in, the worldview that you and I might hold, Sandy. I'm just suggesting they get out of the way, that they don't have a place in those battles. And in many of the instances that I just discussed, Starbucks doesn't have a place. And so if their board was balanced, my guess is they would stake out either no position or a neutral position on many of these issues. And I think that opens them up to a larger clientele base of conservatives that have for years wanted nothing to do with Starbucks coffee. Yep. So I was actually putting a proposal forward that is pro-business for Starbucks, and they still rejected it.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the bottom line is they rejected it very roundly. They rejected your proposal. And you, just about a week or so before that, or around that time, you actually also went to the board meeting for Twitter. I'd love to hear about that one. What was your experience like with them?
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting in that, Jack Dorsey is one of the few CEOs that will admit that there is a bias within his company. This is a shocking thing. But, Jack Dorsey admits, yes, our office is in Silicon Valley. Yes, we have a largely left-leaning workforce. But then there's always the but. They continue to claim that the platform is not biased against conservatives. However, we can go through all the anecdotal evidence we want, because we all know the anecdotes out there that it's largely conservatives that are taken down. But actually a PhD candidate at Columbia ran through the numbers, and of the 22 main political figures that have been deplatformed from Twitter, and those individuals were people that expressed support in the 2016 election one way or the other, 21 of the 22 were people that expressed support for President Trump. So they can deny it, but 21 out of 22 is a pretty strong sample. But interestingly enough, one thing we do is we get results and we get impact.